Jahn! Utah! Hey, welcome back to the Shitty Podcast, Slapshot Utah. Thank you for joining us today. John, what you got going on?
Not much, man. Just a regular week, I guess, man. Summer's here, though. Summer is here. We had a couple of rainy days, but it's hot. I'll tell you what. We're in the yard work season, as it feels like in our house right now.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, the sun has come out. Every hoodie I own is in the back of the work truck because,
Yeah.
it's 48 degrees in the morning and 86 by the afternoon. But yeah, the warm season has come upon us. And of course, that also means that we are approaching the Stanley Cup finals. We have two contenders. We have the Carolina Hurricanes in the East, and we have the Vegas Golden Knights in the West. John, some people are not really enthused about the Stanley Cup playoff matchup. What do you think? Are you excited? Are you happy? Give me your take. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I know, like, across the league, and especially now in Utah, there's some bitter feelings towards the Vegas Golden Knights. I think it's really cool that in our first playoff experience, we took the Western Conference representatives in the Stanley Cup to 6 games, gave them a run for their money. You could say, oh, well, it's because Utah had the fresh legs and, oh, we were the warm-up team. But as a Mammoth fan, I'm pretty proud of our young guys, man. It's now, am I going to cheer for the Knights? I had a debate by myself in my head about this. I am gonna cheer for drum roll, no, but I'm gonna cheer for the Hurricanes
Yeah,
for one reason. They have they have more Americans and they have 2 Finns on the team. So I'm gonna cheer for the Carolina Hurricanes, who I think their last win, correct me if I'm wrong. I know Big D will correct me on Twitter. I think 05-06 was their last Stanley Cup, or 06-07. I remember it was like my junior or senior year in high school.
yeah, and well, so a lot of people are taking the Hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
I think they took what the Senators swept them, didn't they sweep the Flyers, and then they took care of the Canadians in 5 games. So if they lost 1 game in their whole Stanley Cup streak here, pretty
Yep.
overwhelming, right? Do I got that right? So,
Yep.
yeah. And look, the Hurricanes, Taylor Hall is killing it for him right now in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
dude.
Lots of great things going on. Freddie Anderson, he could win the Conn Smythe for the Hurricanes. I mean, a .928 save percentage, just
That's
brutal,
crazy.
absolutely brutal. Great
Hey, but
players
hats
on
off
that
to the
team.
Knights, though.
Yeah, well, that being said, I mean, I thought they were hacks I thought they were a shit show going into the playoffs with Tortorella. I didn't believe in Marner. They seemed like underachievers all season long to an extent. And then, I underestimated our team, the Utah Mammoth, by not giving them enough credit for how they did perform, because here the Knights are. Got to give massive credit to Carter Hart for
Yeah.
keeping the Vegas Golden Knights I mean, look, that we said Freddie Anderson with the .928 save percentage. He's a Carter Hart rookie. And with all the toxic energy coming at that kid with a .924,
Yeah.
absolutely locked in. And of course, you cannot overlook the performance of Mitch Marner. We've talked about that. It's
Eichel.
yeah, Eichel, Dorofeev, those are all big contributors for that Vegas team. I'm gonna take the Vegas Golden Knights. I think I like the
Ooh.
villain energy.
Yeah.
I like the Tortorella Marner Carter Hart story. I let's light this league on fire. I look, the Colorado Avalanche was the team that needed to lose in all of this to really shake things up. I know that's not what some people wanted to hear, but that's the team that I wanted to see to lose. I look Vegas. It's actually been kind of fun interacting with some of these Vegas
Yeah,
fans. Very passionate. They've taken their fair share of crap. Um,
yeah,
and I got to tell you, as little as I like the Vegas Golden Knight branding, I like the Carolina Hurricanes branding even less.
I agree
Um,
on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, you brought up a good point on, like, the villain energy. I know
Hmm.
we got a couple listeners that are Vegas fans. Dude, quit defending yourselves on, like, social medias. Lean into the hate. Like,
Yeah.
be like the Joker. Like, just no one's ever gonna like we've talked about it about the Mammoth. No one's ever gonna accept the Knights either. Just lean into it. Just yeah, give me more hate. Like, bring it on because like you said, controversial figure in the NHL right now, Carter Hart. Say what you want about him, but that boy is making saves that are unbelievable right now. He's playing on his head.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And listen, there's good guys and bad guys in every sport, every lineup. Um, if you want to take a microscope out and look through people, you can find a specific player on the Colorado Avalanche that has had
Yeah,
similar allegations against him. But one way or another, I'm here for the sport, and when people are proven innocent, that's all I can go off of. I don't even
right.
think that needs to be really talked about at this point anymore because I
No,
think that the evil eye is so fleeting in its attention. I think it's kind of a phony baloney criticism. And I think you're right. I think the Vegas Golden Knights fans need to stop defending themselves and trying to be the White Knights in this situation. Is it too early in the show for me to say fuck the haters? That's the
nope.
position I would have if I were you guys.
Me
Just,
too.
hey, win your championship and let them all eat dick.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what it's all.
literally.
So I look, I'm excited. I'm excited for the Stanley Cup playoffs here, but yeah, I think I'm going to put my shoulder behind the Vegas Golden Knights. And I think they're
Cool.
going to win too. I think they're the underdogs. They're going to pull it off.
Well, for just while we're on this topic, call the hotline 801-810-4869 to be on next week's episode. Tell us who you think. I mean, by then, let's see. So the first game I believe is on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's on Tuesday, June 2nd at 6 p.m., then Thursday, then Saturday. So by next episode, we'll be going into game 4. So actually, yeah, we'll have kind of a better understanding on how these two teams match up, I guess.
Yeah, I think we'll still be playing hockey. That's for sure. I don't think
For
any of these
sure.
teams is going to sweep anybody. But
For sure. But the other big news, Leroy, on like let's just switch it off from actually no, we'll keep it on hockey. Yeah, let's do the international hockey, dude. Today, Switzerland and Finland will play in the final. I know it'll already be determined by the time this episode comes out. Dude, this has been great international play. I don't know if you've been watching any of it, but these games have been fun, and it seems like the players are still playing after even being eliminated from the playoffs.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen you sent me a text and we went back and forth about the NHL network and I thought you were referring to the Memorial Cup, which I have been
Oh, yeah,
watching.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I've seen some of the condensed playoff games and highlights, some games and highlights of the international, but so that's Switzerland and Finland and that's coming on Sunday. By the time the listener
Yeah,
hears this, we'll know who the
for
champion.
you and me in exactly an hour.
Yeah, yeah. The significance of that tournament kind of cycles is depending on what's happening, which year it is, Olympic year, what's going on, who's available to play, but always great hockey. Like I said, I thought you were speaking of the Memorial Cup, which I think
I mean, how's that going?
that final is tonight or tomorrow as well. The Kirshner Rangers and
Oh, yeah, I saw the commercial for that,
Something
actually.
Silvertips. Yeah, it was Tisha Ginla's team that was hosting the tournament. This is for, of course, the Canadian Hockey League. This is kind of the premier, the Memorial Cup's kind of the premier junior uh league in North America. And so yeah, I've been kind of catching that. NHL Network has a lot of hockey that's not just NHL that is fun to watch because I know that in that Memorial Cup, I think the team, that Rangers team, I think they've got a goaltender from the San Jose Sharks who's a prospect who's going to be a real killer.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and so
So
sometimes it's fun to see that stuff. The junior worlds is where I really enjoy the world
oh, yeah.
competition, you know. But yeah, fun stuff on NHL Network, all of that
And
kind of.
So the Kelowna Rockets are who Tej is on, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And
And they
they're playing in the and they're in the final or
only
no?
by virtue that they were hosting the tournament.
Oh, so it oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
they
I
were
get it.
they got skunked out in their
Oh, yeah, I
first
see right here, the Rangers versus the Silver
the
Tips.
silver tip. And where the silver tips from? It's the
Everett.
Kirshner Rangers, the Everett Silver Tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, if you don't like the Stanley Cup matchup, there's still some hockey going on. And of course, the NHL draft is going to be coming up later in June. That'll be fun to kind of cover and
Oh,
have a
yeah, that
look
is
at.
cool.
Yeah. So still hockey season is not over. Of course, we are winding down. What else do you want to talk about on Slapshot Utah today, John?
Oh, dude, well, the other big thing that's taken the sports world in Utah by storm is that I think that we have become the clear front runner for an MLB expansion team. Now, I have my thoughts on it. It is the Larry H. Miller Group that is spearheading this operation to get us this MLB team. I have my thoughts on it. I want to hear yours first, though, as the senior baseball analyst on Slapshot Utah.
Okay, well, what is the question exactly? And I'll
How
tell
do you
you
feel
what.
about it? Do you think it's gonna be a good thing? Do you think we can sustain a MLB market or
So, Major League Baseball is coming to Utah sheerly because we've got the time and the place and the money. Funding for a stadium is secured. Major League Baseball never wants to take a risk on something like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays ever again, on the Florida Marlins, so to speak, ever again. They need a solid owner, number one, first and foremost. They got that with the Millers. Two, they definitely have a stadium deal and they've got public funding and the support that they need. So they say, at least that's what Bob Nightingale says, it's a slam dunk for Utah. Do I think it'll work? Well, it depends on what your opinion is. You know, I've seen like what do you call working? I guess is what and what I'm getting at is this is I've seen a lot of social media jibber jabber about what should we call the team? Should it be this? Should it be that? Hey, listen, guys, we got bigger problems because I don't know if you've noticed, but over here in Harriman, there is a stadium by Mountain View Corridor that has an enormous apartment building that's unfinished out in right field, covered in an enormous green tarp. It almost seems a dereliction of duty by the local journalists if maybe if someone has reported on it and I've missed it. But why aren't we talking about the big green monster in right field out there in Harriman? So really, we should stop being concerned about what maybe someday this team is going to be called and start actually thinking about whether or not we can execute. Because that stadium out there in Harriman, it's a wreck and it's not going to cut it. So it's a good practice project, but we've got a lot of work to do for Major League Baseball to really work, besides just trying to figure out what the team is going to be called. And when it comes to what the team is going to be called, the only thing I can say is this: baseball has been around, the sport, professional baseball in the United States for, geez, 150 years, just about. Okay. You've got to be classic about it. This is for prosperity. You know, don't focus on what's kind of trendy and popular right now. I think we got to take something really classic. So that's my first take on it. I don't know if we're going to suck or not. I guess we'll see what the Millers really want to put into it.
Leroy, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause it because, my camera just went out. We'll be right back.
Oh, all right.
Sorry about that. That is, on my end, but yeah, so going back, baseball, Millers, outright field with the stupid apartment complex. Now, this is what I mean by work, Leroy, and I wanna hear your opinion because I guarantee I'm wrong on this. Baseball seems like the way to succeed and be good in the MLB is to spend an obscene amount of money. You have to spend the money. And like, God bless the Larry H. Miller Group. Like, they're legends in the Utah sports community, specifically the Jazz, now with RSL. I just don't see them paying a $900 million Shohei Ohtani. I don't see, like, we gave John Stockton and Karl Malone's we like I was involved, but like they gave John Stockton and Karl Malone car dealerships to subsidize not hitting the cap, and so it's like I just don't know if baseball like and maybe that's for the better of us as fans. Maybe we turn into the Pittsburgh Pirates with the cheapest owner in the league, or we turn into the Colorado Rockies, where for $12 you can watch the Yankees on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. So I just don't know. For the name, I'm so sick. First of all, dude, it's never gonna be the Storm and Mormons. It's never gonna be the Sister Wives. Dude, you guys are so unoriginal. At least be like the Utah
Joke's over.
Mavericks. Like put like Utah Mavericks and it's the gas station or so. Like be a little original. Like the Soakers and the Storm and Mormons and like, dude, get a fucking hold of yourselves. That joke is so overran.
I mean, to think that it's that these played out jokes are so clever that you went through the process of creating an AI meme and
Yeah.
double checked it and thought, yeah, that's cool enough to
That's
post,
funny.
realizing how fucking cringe it is.
Yeah.
Look, okay, let's go back one step. You said work. What does it work? Okay, well, that's your listen, you've got it. Will it work for the Millers? You betcha. Because what does the Montfort family sell in Colorado with the Colorado Rockies? What do they sell? I tell you, they don't sell baseball. Well, they do. They don't sell winning baseball. What they sell is hot dogs, Coors Light, and hot summer nights. People, there will always be an unlimited supply of people who will come to see baseball if it's a hot summer night and there's beer and J-Dogs, you betcha. So yeah, is it going to work? Sure. There's going to be people that come. Yeah. Is it a possibility that we end up like the Colorado Rockies and the Pittsburgh Pirates? I would expect it, probably for the first decade.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that like it's a tough to make it as an expansion team in Major League Baseball. And just to say this, it doesn't just start here with whether or not we've got it together in Salt Lake. Remember, there's several layers of the professional organization that need to be set up and established, clear from the AAA to the AA down to the rookie league level. And so it's not just what you get in that first season, but it's whether or not the Miller family, whoever owns it in Utah, can build an entire organization from the roots up. A very different process than just getting a pro football team.
Right.
And so that being said, it takes a lot of commitment. And so will the team succeed financially? Yeah. Are they going to sell tickets? I bet you they'll pack the house on Friday and Saturday night, and there'll be a lot of crickets Tuesday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Um, but
Now
they'll make money.
you said we'd have in baseball because it's been around for so long, we keep it traditional. So where
Yeah.
my mind goes, like I know we bashed about the name already, but this is what I want to see. If because we can't do the bees, that's already an affiliate. So this is what I would like. My number one, Utah goals.
The
Bring back
goals.
the goals. Bring back the goals, but the OG one with the guy with the seagull holding the baseball bat.
Yeah. The green
And
and
then
orange ones. Yeah.
yeah, the green and orange ones. It looked like the Miami colors, like the University of Miami colors. And then the second one would be the Trappers.
Yes. I gotta tell you, I don't know who right now owns the rights to the Trappers. Of course, I'll tell you, the Trappers are still exist just under a different name. You know what that name is? The Ogden Raptors.
Oh, yeah,
In
that's right. I forgot they're the Ogden Raptors now.
1987, the Salt Lake Trappers set the professional record for consecutive baseball wins. I mean, Yankees, Dodgers, talk any level of competition.
Really?
The Salt Lake Trappers hold the record for most consecutive wins. The owner, part owner, of course, during that year in 1987 was comedian Bill Murray and his
Yep.
brother I can't remember what his brother's name
I
was.
don't remember
But
either.
at any rate, yeah, the Salt Lake Trappers would be great. I don't know what we'd have to do to secure the rights. You're kind of looking at a navy blue, red, and white, which is a
Ooh,
little overdone, but we can switch
yeah.
that up.
Hey, and if
Um,
anyone wants and so Bill Murray, this is classic stories, right? So, if anybody is ever on Main Street and 9th South, there's a little dive bar called Duffy's right there. There's a big
yes,
old red elephant on the front. If you walk in there and look to your left, you'll see a pool table. If you walk back there, you'll see pictures of Bill Murray wearing his Salt Lake Trappers uniform. And there's a bunch of Salt Lake Trappers like history. If you're ever in the Salt Lake area, that's definitely a stop to see, especially dude, and
it
how
is.
cool would that jersey would go triple platinum too. The
It would be
Trappers, dude,
tra-
it would do so
tra-
good.
Trappers is way cooler than Outlaws. Although I could settle for Outlaws for a Major League Baseball team, but I'm gonna take a stand. Like the Norman Rockwell picture that people on social media of the guy standing up. He's going to make his statement, right? My
Right.
team name, because look, I like Utah Golden Spikes. All right, it might
I
not be
like that
everybody's
too.
favorite.
I like that.
It's not going to be Salt Lake anything. I
No,
have a
they're doing
pretty good
Utah.
feeling it's going to be Utah, and if that's what it's going to be, and I know that this is not going to be popular, everyone's going to throw rotten fruits and vegetables at me. Let's be the Pioneers. Let's
I'm
just do
with it.
that. Let's be the Pioneers. Let's be
I'm
the
with it.
Utah Pioneers. Let's do that shit.
Hey, and it would
Um,
be fun because on the July 24th game, we all dress like pioneers in the stand.
we
Like,
have
how fun
Pioneer
would that
Day.
be? Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Every year
Um,
they do a Pioneer Day MLB game with like that would be so dope. Like,
you
and
know,
it's gonna be right across the street from the fairgrounds as well. So the
yeah.
rodeo's right there. Like that is a party.
I want to add one more wrinkle to the question, make it work. What does work mean? Okay. I'll tell you what it means. And we just touched upon it a little bit. And I think Utah has a terrible, terrible habit of doing this sometimes, of trying to market the Southern California corporate sterilized sports experience with all things. What have we said time and time again? What is a thread in some ways that this podcast that we've tried to emulate? People keep Utah weird. Let
Mhm.
Utah be Utah. Have your own culture. Don't give it away. Don't give it away to whatever is moving in now. One thing I love to tell you what, and it's sad to drive through Salt Lake City and see some of these restaurants or buildings that have been around a long time and they just can't live forever. The one I'm speaking of currently is Coachman's restaurant down on State and 14th.
It's
It's
demolition now.
it's too bad, but but
Ugh.
but there's one saving grace to the whole thing. I don't know if you noticed. The Coachman's sign is still
Yeah.
perfectly intact. The city has every intention of calling that a historical monument, and whether or not they build apartments there or a mini mall or whatever it is, it's still going to be the Coachman. It's still going to have
Mhm.
that sign. The same thing with the Salt Lake Costume Company down on 13th over in Sugar House. I think it's 13th.
17th and 9th or
That's it.
11th.
Another great sign.
Yeah.
The silos down there, right around where you get off the freeway downtown, where those big grain silos are. They're no longer silos, but it's a landmark. And so the city is invested in trying to keep Utah have its character. So yeah, hell yeah, John. Let's be the pioneers. And on Pioneer Day, we make a deal with the league. You can have the 4th of July game, but we gotta have Pioneer Day.
Yeah.
And we can have our own, and everybody will know the way of the fry sauce. And everybody will look upon our beautiful state on our day game. Which, by the way, just a quick side note, I know one, but I think Major League Baseball is missing a huge thing. Every day there should be a day game, at least one. I
Yeah,
don't care whether it's June, I don't care whether it's
agreed.
September. There should be one day game going on for the guy in his truck driving around, for the guy on the construction site, for whoever's doing their thing during the day, that there should be a ball game on nationally, at least on the flipping radio. So, anyways, yeah, do I think Major League Baseball will work financially in Utah? Absolutely. Will we do right by the spirit of the game? I guess that's the question, whether or not money takes over everything. Okay, one more thing about that when it comes to how the game is played and managed. There's going to be a collective bargaining agreement that's going to have to come up. We might end up with a strike. That strike might blow everybody's hopes and dreams of this happening. I just want
Really?
to say, well, you mentioned that. How are we ever going to compete? How are we ever going to compete against sports consortiums that own the Dodgers, that can run the system the way they are? Capital breeds results. It is what it is. I'm not accusing the Dodgers of cheating. It's not anything like
They
that.
just got a lot of money.
They have a lot of money. And so that is going to come up. And the biggest problem is going to be once you start telling the players that there's only a limited amount of money when they know damn well there's not. There's going to be a labor dispute between the players and the owners. And unfortunately, I do believe that it's going to be time off. We are not going to play a 162 game season. And every 20 games you miss is another notch. You piss off an old fucked up Muppet like me in the balcony, the less interested I am. You fuck around with this collective bargaining agreement, everybody should see and appreciate where they're at, because baseball is coming back. Manfred has a way. Rob Manfred is going to find a way to back his ass into having a good legacy as an owner. Seriously, he's got to find a way to fuck this up. And the strike could do it. So hold on to your hat, Utah. Don't start celebrating yet, because the popularity of this game could tank if the owners and the players don't get it right next year. So
Love it,
that being
dude.
said,
Yeah,
I love
I
the
just
idea of baseball's coming to Utah.
I do too, dude. I get chills thinking about this, bro. It's it's Pioneer Day, and instead of running the parade downtown, they run it right down North Temple. And to start out the national anthem, we get a covered wagon just ripping through the outfield. Fucking
Oh,
fly over, zoom out. There's tons of thousands of people. The rodeo's going on across the street. Bro, that would be the greatest tradition ever, is
I
hitting
love
the
it.
Pioneer Day baseball game, dude.
J Dogs is going to take over. Like, that's going to be
J
the
Dogs
primary. Like a J Dog.
J Dogs is gonna
There's
buy the mammoth from Ryan Smith.
so many ways it could be cool, and so many ways they can make it lame.
Yeah,
just keep it weird, Utah. That's what I
I
have to
agree,
say.
dude.
I got to tell you, I'm torn. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that some other time. Enough about baseball. What else do you want to talk about today?
Well, dude, let's wrap it up. We've been on here for a minute, and but dude, let's get back to hockey just a little bit. So watching the Canes and the Canadiens
Oui,
like
oui.
final was pretty fun. Like I really like the tradition. Like I didn't know a lot of these traditions. Like I really like that les habitants, they like sing "Oh Canada" and then the next 80% of the songs in French. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
And then they
yeah.
have people coming out and they carry a torch and it looks like the Olympics and everyone's going, "Ole, ole, ole, ole." Like it's electric. But in game 3, a legend, and I'm gonna butcher his name. How do you say it?
Claude Lemieux.
Claude Lemieux
Claude Lemieux.
walked out the
Yes.
torch. And so I started looking this guy up. Won 4 Stanley Cups. One with the Canadians. He's a Montreal. Oh, what do they call it again in French when you're from Montreal? I forget. But it's a great word. If you know French, you're screaming it at the radio right now. But dude, won 4 Stanley Cups. Was I think I saw that he's the reason the Avalanche and Red Wings hate each other so much for his hit on what was his name? Let me look it up. But for his hit on one of the Red Wings players let's see, on his head, Chris Draper.
Mm,
But at the age of 60, we saw breaking news that he committed suicide.
mhm.
He was found at a family owned business, and that blew my head up,
Yeah,
Leroy.
yeah.
At 60 years old to take your life, like, and then to have that epic of a day like the day before, I don't know, it just goes to show mental health is crazy out here, man, and you guys need to make sure to take care of yourselves out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read a lot about it, since I heard about it, because obviously, I mean, it's haunting, and just like you said,
Yeah,
it looks like somebody's on top of the world and, success and money and business and athletes, but people suffer from things behind the scenes and you don't know what that is. I
that's
had
right.
read that there was some estrangement or separation between him and his daughters for a decade or so, and
Oh,
that
shit.
yeah, I mean, and he, just like anybody, I don't know if you watched or remembered Claude Lemieux at all, but he was kind of a villain. I mean, he was kind of a bring it on. Everybody in the league hates me except for the people on my team. And it's such a competitor. And I mean, such a great hockey, resume. And, there was whether he should or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, whether he might, at some day maybe coach or something. And so everything looks so hopeful, but my gosh, it's such a war in the head, and you don't know where people are silently. And I know that nobody probably gives a fuck about what I think about suicide. But
Yeah,
if you do, I will say that um, reach out to me at Leroy SLC and take me to breakfast and I'll talk to you about it. I don't want to say too much, but I will say this. If anyone out there is feeling despair, if you're feeling hopelessness, just remember that a 4-time Stanley Cup champion is no longer with us and you are. Every day is a win for you. And you just staying in the game, man, that's winning. That's you just got to stay with us. Rest in peace, Claude Lemieux, a champion by every right. From what I understand, a hell of a guy. It's always sad to hear that. But at the same time, there's a victory to every angle of life and tragedy. And so peace to his family and anyone struggling or anyone who that disturbs or touches, or if this triggered anybody, my apologies. But once again, um, hang in there, guys. You're a survivor, and that's all you got to do.
agreed, agreed, couldn't agree more. If don't ever feel bad about reaching out. I've had a lot of not a lot, I don't wanna say a lot because that's crazy, but I've had a couple friends commit suicide. And I think the hardest part is you go, "Damn, dude, I wish I would have texted him last night," or like, and so we feel out here like, like it's the arrogance in us to think that we could have helped, but it's also the love in us that want to help you if you can. If you or anyone you know is struggling, don't forget this. There's a suicide hotline, 988. But even more importantly, hit your friends up because we'd rather carry your tears than carry your casket. But on that note, Leroy, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Slapshot Utah. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys next week. See ya.